So you're trying to get something off the ground, right? A new venture, maybe expanding what you've already built, and suddenly it just feels like you're drowning in information. Like everyone's got an opinion, a strategy, a must-do list.
Yeah, it can be totally overwhelming.
It can be paralyzing, trying to figure out where to even begin, where to focus your efforts.
That feeling, that overwhelm, it's incredibly common. The way most businesses traditionally come to life is, first develop a product or service.
Right, build the thing first.
Exactly. And then go out and try to find people who want it. It makes you wonder, like Joe Pulizzi does in Content Inc., why is this the default path? Why do we all seem to follow the same playbook?
Exactly. And, well, that brings us right to the heart of this deep dive today. Joe Pulizzi's book, Content Inc., How Entrepreneurs Use Content to Build Massive Audiences and Create Radically Successful Businesses. It offers a fundamentally different approach. Like, what if you built an audience, a group of people, genuinely interested in what you have to say before you even had that fully formed product or service?
Yeah, flipping the script. So our goal today is really to dig into the core of this Content Inc. model for you. We want to understand the key principles, the things that underpin it,
Huh?
and explore how you, regardless of your technical background or where you are in your business journey, how you can actually put these ideas into practice.
Yeah, hopefully find some real aha moments, some clarity.
That's the plan. We're hoping to uncover some significant insights that can bring real clarity to your path forward.
Okay, so let's dive into that traditional approach, the book questions first. Build the product, then find the customers. What's the fundamental inefficiency there, especially when we look at it through this Content Inc. lens?
Well, the main challenge, I think, is that you're essentially innovating in isolation. You might create something truly remarkable, sure, but without an existing group of people who are already paying attention.
Right, you have no one to tell.
You're starting from square one every single time you want to introduce something new or even just get feedback. Content Inc. completely reverses this. It's about nurturing a community of interested individuals who value your perspective before you even have a finished offering.
That makes sense.
Think about the compounding effect of building an audience. The trust, the engagement, it grows over time. That's very different from constantly having to acquire new customers from scratch.
And a perfect illustration of this in action, I think, is the story of Brian Clark, the founder of Copy Blogger Media. For anyone listening, his journey really shines a light on the power of putting that audience first.
Absolutely. Brian, who was actually a lawyer by trade.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he had some strong ideas about how businesses should be marketing themselves online, but initially he didn't have a software platform or, a specific product to sell. So back in 2006, he just started creating content blogging consistently about online marketing strategies.
Yeah.
He focused on providing real value, and, well, as a result, he built this really dedicated readership.
Just through the blog.
Just through the blog, yeah. Years later, that very audience became the launch pad for Copy Blogger Media's SaaS system, software as a service.
Right, subscription software.
And that system generated $10 million in revenue without ever relying on venture capital or traditional advertising.
Wow. That's incredible.
It's a powerful real-world example of that audience-first principle.
Yeah.
Really shows it works.
Okay, so the book outlines a 6-step model for Content Inc. We won't go into every single step in super detail right now, but it's useful for you listening to know that there's a structured framework behind this seemingly backward approach.
Right, it's not just random.
No. Let's focus on 2 of the initial and really crucial steps: identifying your sweet spot and your content tilt. First off, what exactly defines this sweet spot?
The sweet spot is essentially where your expertise or your knowledge in a particular area overlaps with something you are genuinely and deeply passionate about.
Okay.
It's the intersection of what you know and what you truly love.
The book shares some really memorable examples of this, like Klaus Pilgaard, also known as Chili Klaus.
Oh, yeah.
He combined his background in music with his, let's just say, very intense enthusiasm for Chili Peppers. An unexpected combo. Right?
Totally unexpected. Or think about Michelle Phan, who brought together her artistic talents, her drawing skills with her passion for makeup. That led to a massive online following.
Right.
And Andy Schneider, the chicken whisperer, his extensive knowledge of backyard poultry aligned perfectly with his love for teaching others about it.
The chicken whisperer, I love that.
It's great, isn't it? But what's really key here, and something for you to consider seriously, is that passion element. You need to genuinely enjoy creating content around this area to sustain it in the long run.
Yeah, you can't fake that for long.
Exactly. That intrinsic motivation is just crucial.
Okay, so you've pinpointed what you know and what genuinely excites you, your sweet spot.
Hmm.
But how do you actually get heard in this like incredibly crowded digital world? That's where this idea of the content tilt comes in, doesn't it?
Precisely. The tilt is your unique angle, your differentiation factor. It's about identifying a specific niche or perspective within your sweet spot where there isn't already a lot of content being created.
Okay, finding the gap.
Finding the gap, exactly. Jay Baer makes a great point in the book. If you're thinking of starting a blog about, say, knitting in a world already full of knitting blogs, well, it's going to be tough to stand out.
For sure.
You need to ask yourself, what can I say about knitting that's different? What's unique about my approach or my perspective? What would make my content interesting?
So not just another knitting blog.
Definitely not. The book provides some excellent examples of successful tilts, like Anne Reardon with her impossible food creations in the baking space. That's a very specific and, frankly, intriguing angle.
That makes you want to click.
Right. And even the Content Marketing Institute itself, but by focusing specifically on the term content marketing back when custom publishing was the more common phrase, they essentially helped define and kind of own a new category. They tilted the conversation.
That's smart.
And what's fascinating for you, the listener, to consider is how deliberate this process can be. The book highlights Amazon's press release method as a tool to help you visualize your content tilt.
The press release method, how does that work?
Well, before they even develop a product, they write a full press release as if it has already launched. This exercise forces you to clearly articulate the headline, the key message, like who benefits and how, the problem you're solving, your distinct solution, and even a hypothetical quote from a satisfied customer. It's a really effective way to crystallize your differentiated value proposition in your content before you even create it.
That sounds like a really useful exercise.
It really is. And the book also points to using tools like Google Trends to identify potential content areas where there's maybe less competition. Andrew Davis is a big proponent of this.
Okay, using data.
Using data, yeah. Even Matthew Patrick of game theory fame used data extensively to refine his content strategy and find his unique tilt. So it's about finding that underserved or uniquely approached space within your broader area of passion.
Got it. Sweet spot, then the tilt. So once you have a good grasp of those, the next vital step, according to the book, is building your audience base, your platform.
Exactly. Michael Hyatt wisely says that if you want your ideas and stories to have an impact, they need a consistent place to live, a home base.
Yeah, and it's incredible when you think about how much the media landscape has shifted, isn't it? Back in, say, 1990, there were just a limited number of channels to reach people.
Right, the gatekeepers were few.
Exactly. Now there are countless options available to you. The book really emphasizes this democratization of publishing.
Absolutely. The internet and modern technology have put publishing power into almost everyone's hands. As the book notes, you can publish content online for free in like minutes.
It's wild.
It is. We have billions of people with smartphones, widespread internet access, plus the old stigma around, non-media companies working with content creators. That's largely disappeared.
True.
So it's now much easier for you to find talented writers, designers, producers, whatever you need to collaborate with.
But it's not just about being able to publish, right? The book really stresses the importance of how you publish.
The crucial point.
It talks about having a distinct point of view, moving beyond just generic encyclopedic information.
Right, not just facts.
And definitely avoiding constant sales pitches. The aim should be for you to become the go-to resource, the best of breed in your specific content niche.
Yeah, the trusted source. And when you're just starting out, the book strongly suggests focusing on building one core content channel for yourself.
Just one.
Yeah, pick one to start, whether that's a blog, a podcast like this one, a video series, or an e-newsletter. Don't spread your efforts too thin by trying to be everywhere at once, especially at the beginning.
That makes perfect sense for listeners to hear. Focus that energy.
Yeah.
And the book also cautions against relying exclusively on social media platforms for your main presence, doesn't it?
It does. It highlights the fact that you don't really own those relationships. You're building on rented land, essentially.
Do analogy.
Yeah, think about examples like YouTube and SMO-ish, where platform changes can drastically impact creators.
Right, algorithm changes, policy changes.
Exactly. So while social media is certainly a valuable tool for reaching people, building an owned platform, typically your own website with with an email list of subscribers is presented as the most stable, the safest long-term strategy.
So even the big guys do this.
Oh yeah, even incredibly successful online entities like BuzzFeed and Goop, despite their massive social media reach, prioritize building their direct email connections. That's their core asset. And the book even suggests conducting a content audit early on, just to understand what content assets you might already have that you can build upon or repurpose.
Smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're consistently creating this focused, tilted content on your chosen platform. How do you then actually grow that audience? How do you harvest them, as the book puts it, and turn them into loyal subscribers?
Well, creating consistent high-value content is the absolute foundation. If the content isn't good, nothing else matters.
True.
The book highlights Marcus Sheridan's approach, the they ask you answer guy. He advocates really listening to his customers and brainstorming at least 50 of the actual questions they ask.
50 questions.
Yeah, that becomes a goldmine of relevant content ideas for you. It's all about directly addressing their needs, their problems, their interests.
I really like the idea the book mentions about involving your own employees in creating raw content.
That's a great one.
With the understanding that it will be professionally edited later. That seems like it could unlock a lot of valuable internal knowledge.
Definitely. And it shows them they don't have to be perfect writers. And of course, having an editorial calendar to plan your content creation schedule is crucial for staying consistent. Can't skip that.
Right, the planning aspect.
Absolutely. But the real key, the absolute linchpin for building a subscriber base, according to the book, is to have a compelling reason for people to give you their email address.
The call to action for email.
Exactly. Even social media powerhouses like BuzzFeed, they heavily promote their email newsletters constantly, offering valuable gated content, like ebooks or webinars, in exchange for an email address is another very effective tactic for you to consider.
So giving something valuable away for that email.
Precisely. And don't overlook content syndication, basically, republishing your content on other relevant websites, with their permission, of course. It's a way to expand your reach without negatively impacting your search engine ranking.
Okay, republishing strategically. Good tip.
Small details can also make a difference. Like the book points out, simply including relevant images with your written content makes it more engaging, perform better.
Makes sense. Visuals help.
Definitely. And while gated content is useful for capturing subscribers, the book generally recommends making the majority of your content freely accessible, ungated,
Why is that?
to maximize its discoverability and sharing potential. You want people to find it easily. Then, for that initial push, maybe to get things moving faster, you might also consider some paid content distribution options.
Like ads.
Yeah, like pay-per-click advertising or targeted social media ads, just to give your content an initial boost and get it in front of the right people.
Okay. So build the base, harvest subscribers, then what?
Then, once you've built a solid and engaged audience on that primary platform, the Content Inc. model naturally progresses to diversification.
Ah, expanding out.
Exactly. This is about strategically extending your reach to other relevant platforms and exploring different content formats that make sense for your audience.
The book shares some excellent examples of this kind of growth, right? Like Andy Schneider, the chicken whisperer again.
Yeah, he's a great case study. He started with in-person poultry keeping meetups, then expanded to radio, books, and even his own magazine.
Wow, quite the journey.
It really is. And WTWH Media, another example, which has launched multiple online and print platforms and events, all within interconnected B2B industries.
So how do you approach that diversification?
Well, the book kind of categorizes these expansions into two main approaches for you to think about. One is extending your existing brand onto new platforms, like starting a podcast if you have a successful blog.
Right.
The other is strategically acquiring existing platforms that already serve your target audience or a closely related one.
Buying other outlets.
Exactly. Acquisitions can be a significant growth accelerator if done right. And the book even touches on the key steps involved. Clearly, defining your goals for the acquisition, identifying potential target platforms, and crucially, conducting a thorough valuation.
Right. Got to know what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we arrive at the stage everyone is always interested in. Monetization. Making money from all this.
Yes, the payoff. The book explains that once you have that valuable, engaged audience, generating revenue will naturally follow. It's almost an outcome rather than the primary goal initially.
Interesting perspective.
Yeah. By this point, you've built a direct connection with a group of people who trust your expertise and are genuinely interested in what you have to offer. This opens up numerous potential revenue streams for you.
Like what kind of things?
Oh, all sorts. From offering consulting services or developing specific software solutions to hosting your own events, workshops, you name it.
Okay.
The book also mentions the idea of ripples, these unexpected positive outcomes like getting speaking invitations or tons of word-of-mouth referrals that just sort of happen because you've become a recognized authority in your space.
Those bonus benefits.
Exactly. And the book also explores native advertising as a potential way to monetize.
Beat of advertising. What's that exactly?
It's where advertisements are designed to blend in, to look and feel like the surrounding editorial content. Think sponsored articles or maybe promoted social media posts. Ah, okay. Like advertorials, almost.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Examples given include things like Forbes brand voice or Remember Us, the duo on Vine doing sponsored vines.
Vaguely, yeah.
That kind of thing. It's a way to generate revenue without overly disrupting the user experience, though there's always a debate around blurring those lines, of course.
Sure. Transparency is key there.
Absolutely. And of course, traditional subscription models for premium content or community access remain a really viable option for you, too.
Right.
The book even highlights Joy Cho of Oh Joy
Yeah.
as a fantastic example. She built this thriving, diversified business with multiple income streams, client work, product sales, sponsorships, licensing, all stemming from the engaged audience she first cultivated through her blog. It shows the potential.
That's a great example. So, okay, let's try and boil this down. For you, the listener, to really take this in, the core principle of Content Inc. is essentially reverse the traditional approach.
Exactly. Focus on building that engaged audience around your specific passion and expertise first. That's the absolute key. And really emphasize identifying that unique overlap, your sweet spot, between what you know deeply and what you genuinely love.
Mm-hmm.
And then finding your distinct content tilt to carve out your own space, your unique angle.
And remember, the book reminds us this is a long-term strategy. It requires patience. Joe Pulizzi talks about his own journey, how long it took him to build his audience. It doesn't happen overnight.
Good reminder. Patience is needed. And keep in mind some of the common missteps the book highlights for you to avoid.
Yeah, the pitfall.
Like not having a clear and consistent point of view in your content, lacking a defined content creation process or workflow,
Super important.
and forgetting that crucial call to action.
Yeah.
What do you actually want your audience to do after engaging with your content? Subscribe, comment, share.
Right, got to guide them. So the central takeaway for you listening is probably this. Start focused, choose one content channel to begin with, be incredibly consistent in providing value,
Consistency, yeah.
and relentlessly focus on serving the specific needs and interests of a clearly defined audience. Know who you're talking to.
So as you think about your own ambitions,
Mm.
whether you're just starting out or looking to grow something existing, maybe consider this. What is that fascinating intersection of your deepest curiosity and a specific group of people you would genuinely love to provide valuable information to?
That's a good question to ponder.
That right there might just be the very starting point for your own successful Content Inc. journey.
And we definitely encourage you to explore Joe Pulizzi's Content Inc. book for a much more in-depth exploration of all these principles. There are so many more compelling real-world examples in there.
For sure.
Understanding these foundational ideas, really internalizing them, can truly give you a significant and importantly sustainable advantage in building something meaningful.